Alright guys, the time is now for a showdown between the lizard people led by Cousin Croc and the Beastmen who are going to be led by Morker the Chaos Cow. So without further ado, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. So up here in the skies, I do have three groups of the standard Pterodon riders. So these guys have 90 range. I think the Fire Leech Bolus only have 70 or 80, so these guys are going to be a little bit more efficient at trading with Centaurs with throwing axes, which is the main reason you bring them. So most Beastmen players, in order to handle things like this, so you can see here we do have a Stegodon, we have a Bastillodon with the Rev Crystal, we have Krokar on his big dinosaur. They're pretty tough for the Beastmen infantry to take down, so most Beastmen players are going to rely very, very heavily on Centaurs with throwing axes. As such, these guys make an excellent counter. They have higher range. I think they're about the same speed, give or take. The Centaurs are a little bit faster, but you can usually just keep flying backwards and getting some really good trading with the Centaurs because you do have that range advantage. Plus, these also have poison, so with the poison included, the Centaurs will certainly be slower than the Pterodon riders. And on top of that, they have okay combat stats, so if there are some Centaurs kind of harassing your dinosaurs and you want to circle up and around the back and get a really good rear charge, these guys are definitely very good candidates. And they're going to be led by a single skink chief, so he's just going to be kind of leading his pack up here in the skies, which is pretty cool looking. For our main army, we do have two Temple Guard here in the center, so one here, and I think there's going to be one over here as well. So they're just going to be anchoring my army because I did invest quite a bit in big dinos. I do have a Skink Priest who's on a Stegodon here, and this thing is an absolute beast against the Beastmen. That was so bad. I'm sorry. That was not intended, but regardless, this guy's just a monster. Heavy weapon strength and melee with a bonus versus infantry. But what makes these guys really strong is they literally have like this machine gun on top. You can see these guys with their like Gatling cannons, and they do so much damage. I mean, if you get these on like light infantry, like Goreherds, Ungors, even against Bestigors, it just hits like an absolute truck. So you could definitely just get massive value out of these if they're left alive. So this is going to be our Skink Priest with the Lord Beasts. He does have the Flock of Doom and the transformation of what is that actually called? Transformation of Kadon. Pretty cool stuff there. So we're going to be getting those Flocks of Doom on the just herds of low-tier Beastmen infantry and summoning Manticores to go attack their casters. So two Temple Guard are going to be protecting these dinos, make sure they can generate value. We have a couple groups of Skink cohorts. No real strategy here. They're just going to be chaff units, basically absorbing some of the Beastmen charge so we don't get fully surrounded by the beasts. We do also have Krokar. So Krokar is going to be here with Hand of the Gods, and just in case to go with like a Minotaur Death Star or something like that, he's going to be pretty good. And worst case scenario, I mean, he's an absolute monster at hunting down enemy heroes, like just a beast. And we do have the Herald of the Gods or Hand of the Gods, not here. Sorry guys, I just woke up, just finished my coffee, everything's still kicking in right now. So, Krokar's ready to party. That is pretty much it from our army. We've got the Rev Crystal as well. And for my opponent, pretty standard Beastman stuff. It looks like he does have three groups of the Centaurs with throwing axes, and you can see we're getting some pretty good value. And as he does throw the axes, I usually fall back. So then the axes seem to fall a little bit short. It's definitely more cost efficient in terms of trading for the Pterodon riders. But he has three groups of those, so if he can position them well and pick down my big dinosaurs with those AP axes, he can definitely do very, very well for himself. He does also have two groups of Chaos Warhounds, just the standard variant, no poison. Pretty decent against like not skink cohorts, but like chameleon skinks and skink skirmishers and things like that, just for kind of harassing the annoying lizardman units. But I don't really have too many soft spots in my army. For his main core, he does have the Koroks Manrippers here in the middle. Pretty good anti-large, armor piercing, always a pretty good choice. He's got Bestigor herds, and the rest of his army I think is going to be Ungors and Gore herds. It looks like he actually does have three Bestigors in total, so pretty elite infantry. He does have some Ungors down here on the flanks, which are also a very good tool against skirmishers. In the back for his caster, he does have a Bray Shaman with the Lore of Wild for Devolve against my herds. Not herds, what would you even call like a massive amount of lizards or like reptiles? I don't know, maybe someone in the comments can let me know, but he has the Bray Shaman with Wild, and then he also has Morker, who's a very safe choice. He's tough to kill for sure. Without further ado, guys, let's get this show on the road. So right now, I accidentally casted a Flock of Doom a little bit off-centered. I was trying to get like all three groups, but it wasn't the best cast. But we still do hit something. So not the end of the world, but we are counter-skirmishing. And look at this. I mean, we're doing a ton of damage against these Centaurs. They're going to lose their Frenzy, which is going to take away their speed. They're at 74 speed. Definitely just getting out-traded heavily by these Pterodon riders. And as they retreat, we just try and pick off more. Now the main fighting in the front is for the most part underway. Krokar and the big dinosaurs are going to be pathing right into the Bestigors, which is just prime time. We send in some Skinks as well. Skinks obviously aren't going to do terribly great against Bestigors, but for the most part they should do okay. Koroks Manrippers piling through the forest. Beastmen definitely have a lot of substance here in their army. A lot of infantry, but it shouldn't be a problem for the big dinos. So the big easy dinos just going to be ramrodding in there, just balls deep Stegodon action. Oh man, that is just brutality. So the Stegodon does so much damage, and I feel like it's one of those things that a lot of Lizardmen players, like, I mean, maybe myself, because I used to play them a lot, but I never used it, and I've really found it to just be so powerful. I mean, it's great in melee, fear and terror, but its machine gun on top just does so much damage. So, Skink Priest is just going to be going through those guys. You can see the Centaurs are going to be piling in, and these are actually standard Centaurs. So he gets a bit of a surround on Krokar, which I was like, oh, that was a little bit dangerous there, but he doesn't have the most armor piercing. So I do summon a Manticore right here using my Beast Caster, and I'm going to be sending that on his caster. In the meantime, just kind of trolling about with the Pterodon riders, poking the hounds, poking the Centaurs with throwing axes. essentially just keeping them from attacking my dinosaurs. I was kind of like, even if I don't win this engagement over here, if I'm able to keep him busy and like not attacking my dinos are just going to just stomp all over his front line. So the Manticore has been summoned. I was pathing him over here on accident, but you can see he's going to come back and he's going to be attacking. So the Manticore swoops in and attacks the Beastcaster. In the meantime, the Stegodon is just going to be punting these guys. And even though Korok's Manipers are designed against it, it's still going to hit so hard with its armor-piercing Krokar. A little bit trapped up, but he does have the support of his buddy. Now, he's taking some damage, but nothing that a single, Cold Blood or a Ref Crystal couldn't take up. So I do use the Swiftness of Itzel to kind of pop some of those dinos away. Temple Guard are definitely doing pretty good. Over here, the Skink Cohort somehow are getting through these Bestigors, but I think that was because of the initial charge of the Stegodon here. Over here, the Bastillodon with the Rev Crystal doing a very good job against the Bestigor, supporting some of these Temple Guard. But my Temple Guard are very healthy. This one group, I think he might have disengaged, or they were like fighting hounds or something, so I'll be pulling those back into the main fight here. But you can see that Krokar and company definitely doing very well for themselves. I am getting a little bit low, though, almost down to half health. So those Korok's Manipers taking their toll on Krokars. I do sit in there and fight for quite some time, so I will be pulling back now, just letting the Temple Guard fight, as well as this Stegodon right here. So the Stegodon definitely quite happy with itself. We do have a Summoned Manticore, which does also cause fear and terror, so if I'm not mistaken, it should. So yeah, as far as the backline fight goes, we're still able to screen these guys out, and I think this is one of the big reasons why the battle is going so well. He's just been like dancing with me this whole time. He has been getting some retaliation on the Pterodon Riders, but they're just like cheap and just annoying, and as long as these guys aren't attacking the dinosaurs, just imagine these 3 Centaurs just attacking Krokar, for example. But again, if he was attacking Krokar, I could simply just sit here with my Pterodon Riders and just attack this guy and get some pretty good value. So definitely a bit of a tough situation here for my opponent. Regardless of the mainline fight, the Temple Guard and the Skink Cohort's doing pretty good, still working on the Korok's Manipers, who are in okay health, but they are shaken. There's a lot of big spooky dinosaurs and monsters here. And it looks like the Beastmen are suffering a bit of a mass rout. The Ungor herds are running away. We have, it looks like there's some Chaos Spawn here. So Morker does use his Staff of Corruption here. He's able to summon the Chaos Spawn, but Krokar is like anti-large bonus, just hits like a truck. He should be able to deal with those guys. Some Chaos Hounds are going to be coming in as well, trying to get a bit of a wrap on Krokar. And what's cool about the Beastmen Chaos Spawn is they actually do poison as well, so they can definitely slow down Krokar. But the Temple Guard, very, very durable. They are taking Overcasted Devolve, both the support of the Rev Crystal and the Skink Priest, and the fact that these Centaurs have just been having such just massive trouble this entire game. It's a pretty one-sided affair in the front line. The Skinks, of course, are a little bit beat up, but my Temple Guard have 60 models here. These ones have 74, so they're in pretty good shape right here. Krokar's just going to be stomping the yard, attacking Morker, and tail whipping one of those Chaos Spawn in the process, which is quite cool. He does also have his Ray Shaman with the Lord Wild, but he is so beat up. The Skink Chief can definitely snipe him out, but really, I've been using the Skink Chief not to snipe characters so much this game, but more so just to go after the Centaurs, because I knew they were his lifeblood. They were what he really needed in the main line. They're finally getting in there, but if they advance and don't retaliate, they're going to be taking a ton of damage against the Pterodon Riders as well. So the Brace Shaman, Lore of Wild, is pretty close to being broken here. I think I sent the Skink Priest after him, and you can see the machine gun just going down right there with the ballistas, which is pretty cool. Krokar is just kind of working on Morker. I mean, Morker is very tanky, takes a while to kill, melee defense. He does also have regeneration, but Krokar is just the destroyer of worlds. I mean, if he sits on a target, he's going to do a lot of damage, as his dinosaur does indeed teabag that Morker right there. Another block of Doom's going to be going down as well, and the Gore Herds and other troops, and you can see that the Temple Guard are fighting pretty much tooth and nail here to clean up the Beastmen forces. Temple Guard, somebody was actually mentioning in the comments, I'm not someone to like crunch stats too much, like I don't look at the attack intervals and things like that, but somebody mentioned that Temple Guard, unlike a lot of other Halberd units, actually have really good attack intervals. So that's kind of a cool thing to know, that they can function almost like both a Halberd unit as well as a Great Weapon unit, so it's pretty cool. Here in the front line, the Temple Guard doing a pretty good job. Skinks are going to be fleeing, but the dinos, like, that's the biggest thing. My dinos are in perfect health. The Skink Priest here is in really good shape. Krokar is in pretty good shape. And the Rev Crystal's healthy. Temple Guard are healthy. The only thing that I really took a lot of damage on were the Skinks for the most part. I mean, Krokar did get a lot of healing as well, but I feel like this is a very, very solid anti-Beastmen build, and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to show you guys this build today. I do think that it's already an easy matchup for the dinos. Like, it's definitely a lot harder for the Beastmen to win that matchup, but I felt like this had like pretty much answers for a lot of what the Beastmen wanted to bring. If they had gone with like Minotaurs with Great Weapons and that style of play, the Pterodon Riders can poke down Minotaurs, you have Krokar, you have Temple Guard, and if they go with this style of play, Centaurs with throwing axes, I think my opponent could have been a little bit more efficient with the Centaurs and maybe just sacrifice them at the cost of getting the dinosaurs, right? Just like sit behind your main line and just like guard them with some, Ungors or something like that, and just throw all their axes at the big dinos. Even though they're going to be going down to the Pterodon Riders, I think it would be a little bit more efficient than trying to skirmish the Pterodon Riders, because they're fast, they're kind of elusive. It's really easy to dodge throwing axes rather than like direct projectiles like these guys, they're poison darts or their javelins. So I think that he should have probably just like forced those guys in and gone after the dinos, because Morker and a couple Bestigors, I mean, he had Korok's Manipers in the front line and like maybe some Ungor Spears. That is not enough to stop Krokar, as well as a Skink Priest on a Stegodon and a Bastillodon. I mean, that is so much stopping power. You really need those throwing axes. Because you saw he did a really good job like surrounding Krokkar initially with the Chaos Spawn, and then he got that wrap with the Centaurs collapsing inwards. That was a thing of beauty. Now, had he had the Centaurs, the throwing axes in position, he probably could have got me down to like 20%, and that could have been a very dangerous, game-changing circumstance there. So anyways, very well played to my opponent, Darian. Look forward to running into you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this dinosaur game. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.